So I ran across this because I'm a multilingual speaker, so my For You page also has some Mandarin. And this is a Chinese teacher. She was talking about how some Chinese people will treat foreigners well whenever they learn Chinese and be very encouraging and positive and uplifting. However, when it comes to, ethnic Chinese people that are born abroad, such as in the United States, they're not as encouraging. They're kind of negative about that type of shit. And does that not sound fucking familiar with Mexican Americans and Mexicans back home with regards to Spanish? So it's just a widespread phenomenon when it comes to like heritage speakers. That's the term, that's the appropriate term for people that are, born or raised in another country outside of the target language environment. The target language being their heritage language, essentially, right? So, it applies to basically anybody. But this seems to be a common attitude across multiple ethnic groups, because I can relate in the sense that my Spanish is very fluent, right? But, it's not like I'm going to get a clap on the back and say, hey, good job, bro, blah, blah. Nah, it's just going to be like, oh, well, it should have already been like that, bitch. That's the reaction. Of course, whenever I learn Chinese Mandarin, how people treat me on Red Note or in person and everything is with a lot of positivity, like, oh, you're freaking great, your Chinese is amazing, Same thing when I learned Portuguese. They were like, oh, how the fuck do you know Portuguese, right? But it's because it's just not an expectation, because it's like I'm not a member of, like, either the country nationality or the ethnic group, right? I say country because, Portuguese speakers, you can find them, like, in several countries, right? I made this post, like, recently when I was saying, like, it's silly if somebody were to try to call me, like, pocho, which is a negative word, basically implying that your Spanish proficiency isn't that great, and it's something that native Spanish speakers will use on other people. Now, other people will co-opt it and just throw it out there just to be asses, right? Just like this guy right here. Of course, I called him out. And I was saying that, well, that doesn't make sense, dude, when I got certified at the same level most native speakers get if they take the test, like an official, actual certifying test, which would be advanced high. Like there was a study done, and most native speakers in this one study that were Latino international students that were native speakers at an American university scored advanced high, 61% of them. So when I challenged him, I'm like, hey, produce a certificate that's higher level then. All he resorted to was, instead of saying, oh, never mind, you know what, you're right. Nah, he just doubled down and is like, oh, say it without crying. And then I just called him out. I'm like, we're not on the same level, dude. Like, go fuck yourself, basically. But it's just like funny. You can never get the kudos if you're a heritage speaker. It's always some bullshit, bro.